食咗飯未啊？各位同學，食咗 lunch 未啊？食咗啦，真係好啦嚇。我食咗早餐，食咗早餐，食緊，哇！真係正啊！邊食邊上堂啊！有冇邊個同學今朝早已經上咗3個鐘啦？而家又嚟3個鐘，或者今朝要上堂，跟住而家又要上咁樣。因為連續上6個鐘都幾眼瞓㗎，真係。等多4分鐘啦，好唔好啊？等多4分鐘，咁就我哋就開始。咁啊，同學咧就記住咧，就用你嗰個全名咧就 log in 入嚟呢一度嚇。咁啊，方便我咧，我嚟 take attendance 啊，就唔好打個學號啊，或者打個 Peter 咁樣就唔知邊個嚇。咁就我就方便啲嚇。It's the same as 係啊，嗱，如果你有啲同學咧，你已經係因為 add job 咧走咗入嚟，即係已經上個禮拜係咪4開始上堂㗎？我記得係嘛？4、5啊，係嘛？嚇，咁咧你唔使上啊，一樣啊，得唔得？唔使上，即係喂，你可以上，你想聽到我講一次冇問題嘅，但係嗰個 content 咧，因為我哋今次係星期4先至係 day one 啊嘛，咁即係每一個禮拜4先至係 day one，咁所以就 replicate 嗰啲嘢係OK 嚇，你自己決定啦，你中意上咪繼續上，你話聽過啦，不如做其他嘢咁咪其他嘢冇所謂。咁啊，最好就有計數機喎，即係 calculator 嚇。就係你即係如果你喺香港考 DSE 嘅同學咧，你攞翻當年嗰部機出嚟就得㗎啦。就手機嗰部就唔得嘅，即係手機個計數機就唔夠。好，等多1分鐘啦嚇，咁啊呢班就可能係你睇個樣，可能係少啲人咯，啲同學可能轉走咗去我去第2班。 我用英文講多次嚇。Now, a student, when you log in this Zoom classroom, and please use your full name to log in, since as I use the full name to check your attendance, right? Okay. If you use the student ID, email address, or not your full name, okay, please log out and log in again. 中文中學會唔會壓迫啦？So I know that some student you come from the secondary school use Chinese as a medium of instruction. So that maybe you may think that following the content is very difficult, but I would say it's difficult, but not that difficult. Okay, it's a bit difficult. I think that after you join 2 or not more than 3 weeks, you can follow. You can follow the content. Okay. Okay. Right now, okay. 咁我哋咧就開始啦。咁我 usually through teaching, I use English on teaching, but I will supplement with some Cantonese, especially the jargon. Okay, some typical term. Maybe I explain a bit. Okay, so that you may find it more. You will find it more easier to just wait. Okay. Okay. Student, good afternoon, right? And welcome to my class. I am Thomas Chen, and this year there are 5 lecturers on teaching QA1. I'm one of them, and also I'm the course coordinator of QA1, so that if you have any problem about the QA1, no matter in the academic or in the administrative content, you are welcome to send me an email or ask me in the lesson, right? Now, you know that in CC, Community College, usually each lesson, it is a 1.5 hour or 3 hour arrangement, right? And QA1 is a 3-hour arrangement, but usually, okay, in this month, we will still use the fully online teaching mode. Okay, fully online teaching mode. But from next month, maybe we will change to a branded mode. Now, or if it is an online teaching mode, I will use the online teaching and do the exercise. Okay, usually I arrange the lesson in this way, and 1 and 20 minutes. Okay, the first section, then I will take a break, 10 to 15 minutes, and then usually in the second section, I will reserve the last 15. Not more than 20 minutes for you to ask questions. I will not use all the 1 hour and 20 minutes on teaching. Okay, I think that mathematics, maybe I reserve some time for you to ask questions. It's better than I talk, and then you listen to a 3-hour lecture, very boring, and also maybe you don't understand the content, right? But this is my practice. Okay, this is my practice. Now, now, how do we arrange the next month? Maybe in the next lesson, I told you what is the arrangement in next month. All right, now first you should receive 3 documents from the SOL. One document is the syllabus, 一個咧係嗰個課程內容。2 documents, one is the chapter 1 notes, another is the chapter 1 exercise. Maybe I quickly go through the syllabus for you to what we intended on learning in QA1. A quantitative analysis actually is a statistic knowledge, statistic subject, okay? And we put statistic in an associate degree because we find that it is especially useful for you on further studying. That is over 80% of our students, they will proceed to the studying a degree, okay? So no matter what degree you you will join, okay, arts, science, engineering, whatever, we also find that statistics is very important, especially today is a big data age, okay. And in QA1 its course code is CCMA 4001 啊嘛，記住呢個曲喎嚇，即係CCMA 4001咧，呢間學校咧就認 number 嘅，得唔得嚇 ？OK OK， and it is an elementary statistics subject. What you are going to learn is sampling 抽樣調查啦graphical presentation, statistic measure. Okay, these two we will learn in the lesson 1. Class sum probability concept, probability distribution, estimation, and testing hypothesis. Estimation in Chinese 叫估算。For example, I ask 10 students, 100 student GPA, okay, GPA. The average GPA of the 100 student is 3.21, okay. And if I want to guess what is the average GPA of all the students in this college, so in this case, we are going to do some estimation, okay. Everyone can estimate, but how do you measure the accuracy of your estimation? We need some statistic knowledge. And also we'll go through something 假設檢定啦 testing, hypothesis or hypothesis testing. You have a belief. Okay, you have a belief. And but it is also only a belief, right? So that I using a scientific method doing data collection to verify, to check the belief is correct or not, using use a statistical approach. And finally, I'll also teach you how to use the Excel, a very common Microsoft package to do statistic analysis. Right. This is lesson 1. And in lesson 1, we're going to study this thing. Okay. Frequency, distribution, stem and nib plot, graphical, box whisker plot, measure of location, and measure of variation. I think that among the chapters, this is the easiest, okay? It is the easiest because most of the content, I believe you heard them before in secondary school. 我相信絕大部分咧嘅內容你都聽過下嘅，呢個係最容易嗰個 topic 嚇 ，OK。And the next section, we're going to study some probability. My experience is many students are afraid of probability, 點樣計機會率嚇。But it is a foundation of statistics. We must learn something on it. And after probability, we learn a probability distribution, right? It is mathematics model， 係啲數學模型嚟嘅嚇，數學模型。And this model successively model the human activities, human activity. So I will teach there are 5 very common statistic model. And after that, we start to learn sampling distribution. OK， 咁我哋開始學抽樣啦嚇。And sampling distribution of the mean 平均值的抽樣 ，sampling distribution of the proportion 比例性嘅抽樣嚇。OK，what they are then what it is. And afterwards we start to do some estimation. 我哋學做估算啦estimate the mean, estimate the proportion, determine what size of your sample should be to get a reliable estimation 嚇，即係抽樣要抽幾多先至可以有得到一個可信嘅結果咧嚇You may say, oh, I select all, but money and time are the restriction. Okay, so we want to calculate an optimum value that save your money, save your time, but still you get a good and also reliable result. Afterwards, we learn the testing hypothesis testing. 假設檢定啦嚇 Okay, use a statistic approach to check your belief, check your thinking. Is it valid or not valid? Finally, I teach you how to use the statistic on doing something from 1 to 6. Okay. And because semester 1 is quite strange, right? We still use the online teaching, so the assessment methods in QA1 in this semester is we will have 4 assignments. Altogether contribute 60% of your total marks. And we have 1 end of term assessment, which is 40%. 40%. And this college determined up to this moment there is no face-to-face exam. 即係諗到目前為止嗱，可以變嘅呢樣嘢。But up to this moment, we don't arrange face-to-face examination. But we will arrange an end of term assessment, use the online method. Okay, I will tell you the detail later. All right. And about the textbook, I recommend 2 textbooks if you really want to buy a textbook on studying QA1. Okay, and some I already reserved some copy in the CC library. Okay, in the CC library. Now, but I suggest don't rush to buy 2 textbooks. I suggest first you read my notes. Also do all the exercise I give you. If you don't understand, use the each lesson the 15 or 20 minutes. Ask me what you don't understand. And if still I can't solve your problem, send me an email. Okay, send me an email and ask for maybe a personal tutoring. Okay, personal tutoring. So I may use the Zoom to teach you the important concept. Okay, or the things you don't understand. Okay, but if through this process you still don't understand, that means our teaching, my teaching methods or explanation is not clear, so that maybe you need to maybe at that time you buy a textbook 得唔得？即係我教得唔係幾好，咁你又唯有喺度買本書啊！我就唔贊成你一開始買書，得唔得？即係本書又唔係平，咁600幾蚊一本嚇。All right, are you clear on the syllabus？ 好，問啦，有冇咩唔明白？趁呢個機會問咗佢先。
阿 Sir，
好啊。
我想請問咧，呢份 syllabus 可以邊度揾到啊？
喺個 show 度我放咗上去㗎。你有冇 log in 個 show 啊？
有啊，我仲未見到啊。
仲未見到，因為我就放咗上去嘅。或者你 check 多一次啊！如果你再 check 唔到，你咪 send 個 email 俾我，我 send 俾你嘅，好嘛？因為我放晒上去㗎啦。
唔該晒，唔該晒。
嚇，我 email 係我冇俾你哋個 email 咩？你可以喺個 show 度 send 俾我都得㗎。
有啊有啊，我見到啊。
有到啦，係多謝下 ，OK， 係啦，勾晒頭咁就好啦。咁我哋咧就 start 咯嚇，今日要教嘅嘢嚇。咁啊，今日咧我哋係會教 Today I will teach Chapter 1，教到邊一版咧？教到去，咦？可能係教到最後嗰版啊？唔知得唔得嚇？差唔多啦嚇。OK， now Chapter 1 is the easiest， 最容易嘅嚇，即係個個同學都話 very easy。It is only a summarizing and describing data. What are they? Summarizing, that is draw table or draw graph to describe the data, to summarize the data. Describing, that is you are doing some calculation. Did you heard this before? Mean, median 有冇聽過？
有。
幾開心可以放學根本。Interquartile range, variance, standard deviation. Standard deviation, there are 2 symbols. One is a sigma, or you use S. OK 咁中文嚟嘅中文同學就係平均數、中位數、眾數、全距、四非穩距、方差同埋標準差。我講得啱唔啱啊？啱啩？唔知。OK, so this is maybe is easiest because I think many of you have You have that knowledge before. Okay. Summarizing data, we start from. Summarizing data, we start from drawing a table. The first table we learn is a frequency table, 頻率表叫做頻率分佈表. Very easy. For example, there are 40 students asked in a multiple choice test. They have there are 10 questions, and this number are how many correct answers they get. Construct a frequency table. This is frequency table. Now, although it's very easy, but actually it follows some steps. First, from the data, you first look up the minimum and the maximum, step 1. Then next, you know the range of the data from list from 4 to 10. Next is tally. Tally is counting. How many 4, 5, how many 5, 7, so and so. So finally is 40. This is the called frequency table. All right, very easy. Then based on this table, you can draw the first chart. We learn in a primary school or secondary school. It's called a bar chart. Okay, bar chart. Bar chart is to show the frequency of the number, and from it we can easily identify 7. Most of the students get 7 questions correct. This is the mode. Okay, this is the mode. And also we can, okay, then we can also look at the profile of the distribution of the data. 得唔得？頻率分佈表 bar chart 係我哋學 statistic 嘅101小學開始學㗎。Understand? Very easy. Then next is a more advanced method rather than using the bar chart. Its advantage is easy, but is also one disadvantage is for example, if in a problem, I show you the range from 50 to 59. There are 10, okay, 10. X is the range. But if you draw the bar chart, okay, if you draw the bar chart, you only know that there are 10 numbers belong to this group. But if there's a detail, if I want to know the detail, the actual number of each group, you cannot read it from the bar chart. But you can do it by using a so-called stem and leaf diagram. 呢個咧就叫做幹葉圖啦，有冇聽過啊？係咪叫幹葉圖啊？係啩嚇 ？Okay, or stem plot. Stem plot. What it is? Now, if there is a number 386, we split the number into 2 parts. The stem, 個幹咧 is the leading digit of the data. The leaf is the trailing digit, 最後嗰個位。So 386 is first we draw a cross, then this is stem, then this is leaf, okay? Then you write 306 here. But usually we need to write down the unit. Any student, you remember what is the unit of this number? Anyone? You may type it or just answer. 我哋應該放一個數目字喺度嘅，呢個數目字係咩
100啊
？100咧就係太多。
10
記得？唔緊要，答下啱錯冇所謂。記得 what it is？
10
係啦，應該咧就放10㗎呢個。How about this number? What number should be 1? Okay. And how do we know whether it is correct or not? Very easy. There is a simple arithmetic there. 38 times 10 plus 6 times 1 is 386. After you multiply this number with the unit plus that number with this unit, you can generate the original number 386. All right, so this is the stem and leaf diagram. What is the advantage of stem and leaf diagram and how to draw it correctly? Again, there are 40 students doing a mathematics test, these are their marks. And to draw a stem and leaf diagram, first, like the frequency table, you find the minimum, 27. Next, you find the maximum, 100. And you write down the word stem and leaf. And next, you write the unit. Now, there are different versions to write the unit. You may write unit is 10, unit is 1, or just write down tens, units, right? The first number is 27. So I write 2 here and 7 here. 10, okay. So it's 2 times 10 plus 7 times 1 is 27. This is the first number. The second number is 28. So the stem and leaf diagram, we arrange the number in ascending order. 其實咧，我哋啲數字咧就係由細排到大咁排落去嘅。Alright. Next is if there are 237 here, first 37, and then there's another 37. Where is the other one? This is the 37. So you see that there are 237. So afterwards, after you draw the diagram, you can easily identify two things. One, this is the modal group, we call modal group. Greatest frequency. So from 60 to 69, most of the number belong to this group. And secondly, you know the profile of the data is like this. All right. So this is the advantage of stem and leaf diagram over bar chart is you still keep the detail of the number. 即係我哋仍然知道嗰啲數字咧係乜嘢。Not like a bar chart, just like a bar, but you don't know the actual number of in that group. All right. And one more advantage is later we may use this stem and leaf diagram help us to find out the median. Q1, that is the first quartile. Q3, the third quartile. 我哋可以利用呢個圖咧揾上4分位數、下4分位數同埋中位數。Are you clear how to draw a correct stem and leaf diagram? Okay, now let us do one question. 好，我哋做一題咧，係一題夠啦呢啲。Okay, please do exercise 1. 嗱，大家應該有嘅。The following are the weights of 24 applicants for job in a fire department. Construct a stem and leaf diagram for these data. I'll 俾3分鐘大家畫下啦。So remember, you write the heading, stem, leaf. Next, write the unit. Next, put the number in ascending order. 唔係3樣嘢嘅喎，有個 heading 啦，有個單位啦，將啲數字由細排到大啦，排序。OK， 識唔識畫啊？3分鐘應該畫晒嘅呢啲，冇啊！呢啲練習得一題嘅啫。好耐冇做過呢啲咁嘅幼稚園練習係嘛？Do you finish? Now remember the step, draw a cross, write the heading, write the unit. Next is find out the minimum. 169 is the minimum. 226, right? 226 is the maximum. Okay, is the maximum. 好，俾得30秒大家。Okay, let's see the answer. 好啦，嗱呢個咧就係答案啦。嚇 ，alright. You write the heading, the stem, alright. Then the leaf, then the write the unit. There are two versions to write the unit. You may write unit is 10. This side is a unit is 1, or you just write tens and units, right? 169, 16 times 10 plus 9 times 1 is 169, and you arrange the number in ascending order, right? Ascending order. This is the stem and leaf diagram. Very easy. 得唔得？好容易做嘅啫嚇。Okay. Any problem? 冇啊，係咪呢啲咁容易嚇？Okay. Then we discuss what is the advantage of stem and leaf diagram. First, easy to construct. Second, stem and leaf diagram function partly like a table, partly is like a graph. Agree? You use the diagram to arrange the data, put them into different groups. That is a function of a table. But after you put them into different groups, then it behaves like a graph. Next, because you use the actual data, so the original information retained, you still know that the number is what, okay? Unlike in a bar chart. Next is all the number are put in ascending order. So you may next finally later you find it's convenient. You use it to find the quartiles. What is the disadvantage of the stem and leaf diagram? All right. For some type of data, the number of stems that can be chosen is either very small or very large, then it make the diagram inconvenient to construct and unable to show the distribution effectively. What does it mean? If in exercise 1, I put one more data here, which is 900. So that in order to accommodate this number, then you draw a stem and leaf diagram, then up to 2, then so you need to put down so many number in order up to 90. But here there are so many 0, all right? So that if the range of the number is huge, and there exists some extreme data, extreme large or extreme small, use a stem and leaf diagram is not convenient. This is one of its disadvantage. And secondly, if here is not 24 number, if there are 2,400 number here, ask you to draw a stem and leaf diagram. In this case, it's a big population, a big group of data. Also, it's not convenient and not practical to use a stem and leaf diagram. Understand? Okay, so that there's a 2 disadvantage on it. Right. Okay, next. Now, stem and leaf diagram, like this example, although all the number, they are decimal number, you still can draw the stem and leaf diagram, all right? But be careful to use the unit appropriately. 0.021. Here is 2 times 0.01 plus 1 times 0.001 is 0.021. You can also solve this problem, draw the standard diagram, although the number, they are all less than 1. 得嘛？小數都做到㗎。唔好做得太多整數咧，即係大過1嘅數咧，以為小數就 impossible. You can still handle a problem or a decimal number. Okay, up to this point, any problem, student? You want to ask me? 俾10秒大家問下問題啦，呢啲。冇啦，1秒都夠啦。Okay, next. Now then we start to do, we need some calculation. Next is a statistic description, 統計學的描述。To describe a data using a statistic approach, there are 2 angles. First one is called measure of central tendency. 叫集中趨勢量度，集中趨勢。And central tendency actually is about mean, mode, and median. They are called central tendency. It's something like you draw a circle, the center. Next is called a measure of dispersion. 呢個咧係個變幅度量度，It's like the diameter of a circle. A small diameter, draw a small circle. A big diameter, draw a big circle. To describe whether the data they are spread out or they are clustered around the average. In that case, we use the range, interquartile range, variance, and standard deviation to describe it. Now, let's look at 2 diagrams, okay? And they are behave like normal distribution. 我相信大家同學你都見過呢啲啊，即係好似常態分佈嘛，係嘛？即係好似有常態分佈個圖嚇。The first one in A, these 2 diagrams, their profile are similar, 個樣好似㗎， but their average are different. This is x-axis. Okay, so this number is a big number. You learn the number line in Form 1, right? So these 2 diagrams, they have different means. They have different measure of central tendency, but they have the same spread. 即係佢哋嘅變幅度係一樣嘅，佢哋嘅中央位係不同的。OK， 中央位係不同的嚇。OK， next one, these 2 diagrams. They have the same mean. Both are 50, but their spread are different. Okay, which one is bigger? 邊個係大啲啊？邊個 spread? 3 or 4? Diagram 3 or diagram 4? 4 or 3? 4定3啊？聽唔到頭先，唔好意思。4 嚇，4係嗰個嘅 spread 係 the number 4 is a bigger spread because it's spread out. Okay, it's spread out. So that we need 2 angles to describe the data. Why? Say if there are 2 class A, class B. This is mu. Mu represents the mean. After the math test, class A average mark is 83. Class B average mark is also 83. If you just look at the mean, your conclusion is, oh, their performance are identical, the same. But if I give you the sigma is, this symbol is represent the standard deviation. If I told you this standard deviation is 0, then this standard deviation is 30, then the picture is totally different. If in class A, standard deviation is 0, what does it represent? 代表啲乜嘢咧 ？A 班嘅同學標準差係0，代表 what does it represent？
全部都係83分。
All the marks are equal. Okay, all the marks are equal. So in this class, all the students they are identical performance. Okay, both students not both students near the mean. Should be both students they must are the mean. 得唔得？全部都係嗰個 mean， 唔單止 near， 根本就一定係嗰個 mean 添。Okay, but if it is 30 now. 30, this number is quite comparable with 83. So it means that some student, his marks is very high, some are very low. So it makes the spread become a big number. All right. So that you have that feeling that we need two angles to describe the data. One is the midpoint, the mean, the mode, or the median. Second is the standard deviation range, interquartile range to measure the spread of the data. 得嘛嚇？咁所以咧，我哋描述數據咧，通常有兩個角度去睇嘅嚇，兩個角度去睇嚇。Alright? Okay, next one. Now then we start to learn the central tendency. This is the very easy because I think that most of you learned them before since you were in primary 6. The first one is the mean 平均值，即係都唔使多講啦，你教翻我都得啦。平均值 average is the average of 1, 2, 3 is 1 plus 2 plus 3 over 3 is equal to 2, right? But in statistics, there are two symbols represent the average. One is the mu. Mu is called the population mean. 呢個叫做咧。群體或者叫母體平均值 ，that is I collect all the number from the group, all the number that find out the mean. This is called the population mean. Another is also a mean, but is we use X bar to represent it. It is the sample mean. Sample mean 呢個叫樣本平均值。Sample mean is you only take part of the number from the group, calculate the average. So in this sense, if it is a group of number, there's only one and only one population mean. Agree? Because you collect all the number. But there are many sample mean. If you take data from this group, this is the first sample mean. From that group is the second sample mean. From this group is the third sample mean. So there are many different sample mean in the same group, but there is also one population mean in a group. Okay, understand? Right. So there's one example here is there are 40 students. These are the mathematics tests. Find out the population mean. Very easy. You add up all the number, divided by 40. This is the population mean. If I take two groups of data from it, the sample mean of S1 is add up this number, you find this is the sample mean. The second group, you add up all the number divided by 10 is another sample mean. So you see that these three number can be different. The population mean is a unique value, but the sample mean varies from sample to sample, right? And next, if I combine these two groups into a break group, calculate the third mean. So it is also another, like a new number. Okay, now I'm doing some checking. Please use your calculator. 咁啊，大家都係用呢啲計數機啦，係嘛 ？Calculator. Now please use your Casio calculator. Calculate the mean of the first row. 嚇，好啦，咁我講講先啦。嗱，點樣轉翻入 SD function 咧？應該就撳 Mode 4或者 Mode 4。You should press your calculator Mode 4 or Mode 4 depends on your model. All right. And press Shift 9 to clear the Shift 9 and then press 1 to clear the data in your calculator. Then you start to input this number. To inputting is press and plus. Afterwards, please press Shift 2 to find out the mean. OK， 好啦，同學請你試用計數機話個答案俾我聽。
73.1.
73.1 your answer. Other students, do you agree with her? 你同唔同意佢個 number 咧？73.1咧？等我睇下先。73.1，我話1、80、2、70。Shift 21係啊，大家計唔計到啊？73.1嚇。My answer is 73.1. Now you see that if you press Shift 2, you may see X bar. This is 1. Sigma X. This is 2. SX. This is 3. Now this is the mean. The mean. Now, no matter you calculate the sample mean or population mean, you use this one, okay? No difference. But this is population standard deviation. 呢個叫做母體標準差，或者叫群體標準差。Sigma. You collect all the data itself is a population data. This is sample standard deviation. If the data you take actually represent a sample, not a population, you should use this number. Okay, now you may try. Now, if now you press Shift to 2, you will get this number 13.25. Agree? 係嘛？即係如果你而家去撳呢一個掣嘅話咧，你會撳到13.2。But if you press Shift to 3, is 13.96. Agree? 撳唔撳到呢兩個數啊？ If I use this row of data, input, then press Shift 2, you get this number. But you press Shift 2 and 3, you get 13.96. Okay. So which number is correct? It depends on whether these number they are a sample or they are a population. 真係好在乎呢一行數字咧係一個樣本定係一個所有嘅數字，一個群體數字。Are you clear? Okay. Are you clear? And later I will explain to you more detail. Now next is the 中位數 median. Median is to take the middle value of your data set. So for a set of data, after you arrange them in ascending order, 上升由細排到大, then if n is odd, odd 係單數 x n plus 1 is the median. If you have 5 number, 5 is an odd number. So the median is the third number because 5 plus 1 is 6. 6 over 2 is 3. So the third number is the median. So if I have 47 number, where is the median? 如果我有47個數嘅話 ，median 喺邊個位咧？ If I have 47 number, where is the median? Anyone know?
24係咪啊？
係啊，47加1係48， 48除2係24。Get it? Odd number plus 1. But how about if n is an even number, is a 雙數? Then in that case, we use the convention the median is the average of the middle two term. So if I have 10 number, 10 is an even number, right? This is n over 2. So 10 over 2 is 5. n over 2 plus 1 is 6. So the median is the average between the 5th and the 6th number. OK? 咁啊，如果係雙數嘅話咧，我哋要計中間兩個數字加埋除2啦。Therefore, if I have 998 number, where is the median? If I have 998 number,
499同500之間啊，即中間啊。
係啦
499加500除2啊。
係啦，就係第499同埋第500個數字兩個數值加埋除2。All right, get it? So this is the different from mean. Mean is always use the same formula to do it. So I prepared this example, right? This is a 5 number, and that is here is 8 number. All right. After arrange the number in ascending order, 5 is an odd number, so the third number is 12. Another example is there are 8 number. All right, 8 is an even number, so it should be the average between the 4th and the 5th number, so that 4 and the 5th one, after rearrange the number, is 25 plus 26 over 2, 25.5. All right, so up to now you learn mean, you learn median, and next one is the mode. Mode is 眾數. This is the easiest. Mode is the highest frequency. So for a data set, for this data set, the mode is 2 because there are 3, 2. So that because mode is used as counting to find the center. Sometimes you can find only one mode like this group. Sometimes maybe there are 2 modes. In that case, we call it bimodal distribution. Or sometimes even you may find 3 modes. Then in that case, 3 or more, we give it the term multimodal group. Mode is the disadvantage is no calculation, only counting. That is all right. And also mode can solve a problem that mean and median cannot solve is if your data set is qualitative. 如果你咧嘅數據叫定質數據 ，not quantitative， 唔係定量數據。What is qualitative data? What color you like? Okay. Then in this problem, the student give answer is black, white, blue, yellow, right? Meaningless to calculate black plus white plus yellow plus blue over 4. So this is a qualitative data. I can only say, most of the students like black color. So in qualitative data, you can only use the mode to describe it. All right. But mode, because sometimes you get 1 mode, sometimes you get 2, sometimes you get more than 2. So therefore, in statistics, if the data is a quantitative, we seldom use the mode to describe it because on choosing a number to represent a group, we only can choose only 1 number, 1 representative, rather than 2 representatives or 3 representatives or even more representatives. 得唔得？眾數雖然好容易做，但係我哋唔係太喜歡咧。有時居然揾到2個，有時居然揾到3個作為一個代表咧，我哋最中意就係1個。All right? Okay. So in this example, very easy is what are the mode of this brand, okay, brand B and F, they are the mode of this problem. Okay, understand? Right. Now, and also one thing is then usually among the median and the mean, which one is better? Now, the rule is we like use the mean because mean use all the data to do the calculation. Unlike the median, sometimes median may lead to distortion, such as 1, 0, 1, 5. The median is 1, but -1, 0, 1, 5, 6, the median is also 1. Okay? Although you put 2 more number, the median, it does not change. All right? So that it is a disadvantage of median. But sometimes median, it has the disadvantage over the mean, such as 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 100. If you calculate the mean, you will see the mean is greatly affected by this extreme value. OK， 個 mean 咧係好容易俾呢一個單一嘅極端數據影響嘅。However, most of the data, their magnitude are small. So if you look at the data set, if there exists some extreme data, we use the median. We use the median. Okay? If not, we quite common to use the mean because mean use all the data to find out the center. That is, the mean of this three number is different from the mean of this 5 number. Okay? Now, exercise again. Please do question number 2 right now. Okay, please do it now. 好，請你試下做 question 2 and question 3. 好，睇下做唔做到啦。Question 2 and question 3. A group of 15 data, the result here, okay, find the 3M, mean, median, and mode. Which one you think is the best in this case? And suggest, just tell a story why. There's what is the reason? There's a big number, 50. It's much higher than the rest. Can you suggest an explanation? 咁呢啲係講下古仔嘅啫，即係講得啱就有分嘅啦。What is the mean? Median and the mode?
35.2。
呢個係邊個？呢個係 mean 係啦。
median 同埋 mode 都係34。
median 同 mode 都係34。好啦，其他同學試下做下啦嚇。呢啲題目就不太困難嘅嚇，warm up下。其他同學做唔做到啊？同唔同意個 mean 係35.2啊？
同意。
啱啊嚇，即係你要識用部機喎嚇，因為隔住個 mon 我就教唔到你用部機喎，你要自己諗喎。Okay, now let's see the answer. Okay, now the mean is 35.2, right? 35.2. Okay. The median is the midpoint. Okay. Now later in the I will teach you another method called percentile to find out the median. 遲啲因為我哋要教 Q1、Q2，我會教呢個 concept 嚇。But now you may use the even number and odd number convention to find it. Same answer is 34, and the mole is also 34. So in this problem, you see that there is an extreme number which is far from the data group, so that I will choose the median. All right, I will choose the median and tell a story why there's a 50 here, or maybe 50. This number represent the beef quality of that one is better quality, so it's expensive compared with the others. 咁呢啲係講下古仔嘅啫，講得通就 OK 啊。All right, so next question. OK， 好啦，呢題啦。There are 6 number. The mean is given. Find x, find median. If now 60, if a staff member age 60 retire and is replaced by a new one age 30, find the new mean and the new median. OK， 咁啊試下做呢個啦。咁啊3、4分鐘 OK 嘅。揾到咧 x 係幾多
35
？35係嘛？35 OK， 好啦，咁你揾埋個 B 啊，揾埋個 B， B 係35.5。跟住揾埋個 C 啊
C 係36.1 new mean。
new mean 係36.1就唔啱嘅，就計錯嚇，30幾啊？32就係啱嘅嚇，32就係啱嘅。個 new median 咧
32.5，
係啊，32.5嘅嚇。俾一兩分鐘，其他同學1分鐘，其他同學試下嚇。Mathematics 係 learning by doing 啊，就唔係 learning by listening 啊，得唔得嚇？聽係冇用嚇，聽係冇用，錯係必然啊，學計數邊有人冇試過計錯數而計啱數嘅係嘛 ？Impossible 所以就唔好咁介意啊，計錯冇乜所謂嘅。好，咁咪到其他同學。咁我哋就望一望呢啲就係、都唔係好間接嘅，都直接嘅係嘛？即係我哋睇一個技巧點做。Okay, now the first one, the mean is what is x? So it's easy. You set an equation, right? and do a rearrangement. 6 times 37 is 187 plus x. So x is 35, all right? 35. Then after you get 35, you arrange the number in ascending order. So you get 35.5, right? Okay, to calculate the new mean, now always the technique is first, you find out the total of the whole group of the data. And then you minus 60 plus 30. You get rid of the old number, you add in the new number divided by 6. So it is 32. Again, you rearrange the number, you get the new median. All right? Okay. No problem. 好，冇問題咧，我哋又返呢度。So then it is all about 3M. Okay. Then next we go to the second section of the measure of dispersion. That is the measure the spread of the data set. Okay, the spread of the data set, or you will say the variability. In statistics, commonly used is first is the range, second is the interquartile range, third is the variance, lastly is the standard deviation. 呢4個咧係最常用度 data 嘅變幅度方法。Range is the easiest, right? A range of the data set is the greatest value or the largest value minus the smallest value. All right. So if an athlete, 如果個運動員his highest mark is 9.5, lowest mark is 6, then the range is 3.5. Another one is if the highest mark is 8, the lowest mark is 7, then the range is 1, right? 1. Range has the disadvantage about is easy. You just look up the data, find out the maximum, find out the minimum, then you do the subtraction. That's all. Okay, so it is an advantage on using the range. 全呢個叫中文好似叫全佢，係咪啊？有冇同學知啊？好似係，係嘛？唔記得。Okay, now, however, range although is easy, but sometimes it leads to some distortion. Say 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 100, then the range is 100 minus 2 is 98. It is a big range, but most of the data, their magnitude are small, 1 digit only. 大部分數據係好細嘅啫噃。But the range you say is very great. So although the calculation is correct, but use this number to describe this group of data is not that appropriate because 98 is severely affected by this number 100. So the statistician think, is there any method that can improve the accuracy on measuring the data set, but still keep the calculation easy? Is one number minus another number. So they think about interquartile range. 因此佢哋係諗出4分位距呢一樣嘢啦。So quartile 叫4分位數4分位數。With the set of data arranged in ascending order, the median is the value which divides the set of data into 2 equal parts. Let us look at this diagram. Now, this is this graph, okay? The midpoint is Q2. This is the median. If the median divides the data into 2 halves, in the first half, if we further divide it into 2 halves, so we call it, this number is the first quartile. In the second half of the data, we find the Q3 is the third quartile. Statisticians use this Q3 minus Q1 to measure the spread. Then This number, remove the head, remove the tail of the data, and use the middle 50% data on measuring the spread. Sure, it can improve the accuracy because you remove the extreme data set. All right. Understand the concept behind. But how do we locate Q1 and Q2, Q3 correctly? Because like median, we still need to face the even number or odd number data set. Therefore, in QA1, I first introduce one statistic concept. Maybe you all did not heard them before. That is the percentile. 我首先就會介紹咩叫百分位數先。And we use the percentile method to find Q1 and Q3 are very convenient. What is percentile? For example, what is 37 percentile? It is you arrange the number from minimum to maximum, arrange in ascending order. If there is a number called pre-percentile, that means if you measure from minimum to this point, this range, this interval contains 37% of the data set. It is the percentile. But how do we locate this point correctly? Because there exists even number or odd number distribution. So the method is first, we arrange the number in ascending order. Then we calculate a number I call the index, 係一個指針，係一個 pointer, pointing the position of the percentile. Equation is P over 100 times N. P is the percentage. N is the sample size. P 咧係嗰個百分比 ，N 咧就係嗰度有幾多個數 ，alright? And the rule, remember it. There are two possibilities. First, if N is not an integer, 不是整數 ，round up the data. Round up 中文叫做上寫入，round up the data. So 3.4 after round up is what? 3.4. This number?
4.
4, yes. It's 4 after round up. Okay, don't mix up with rounding. Rounding 咧就係四捨五入。Round up 上寫入。Always move one digit forward. Okay, so it becomes 4. So if I is not integer, round up to the nearest integer. The P percentile is the value in the I position. But if I is an integer, say if your answer found is 5, okay, then the P percentile is the average of the value in the I and I plus 1. So the P percentile is the 5th number plus the 6th number, I and I plus 1, average divided by 2. Okay, divided by 2. This is the method of percentile. Under this concept, Q1, Q2, Q3 can also be found by this method. Q2 is the median, so it is the 50 percentile, right? 啱唔啱啊 ？Q2 係中位數嘛，咪即係50%咯。What is Q1? What is the percentage? Anyone know it? Yes, 25. This one? 75. Okay. This method, the advantage is you just neglect whether the data set is even or odd. You just calculate a number, the index. the answer is an integer or not, then you use the two rules to determine the number of the Q1 and Q2, Q3. So for example, in example 8, the data set A, this data set, find the interquartile range. All right. First, we arrange the number in ascending order. Next, calculate Q1 is the 25 percentile. You find 1.75 decimal number, round up. So the second number is Q1. Next, Q3, 75 percentile. Answer 5.25, round up is 6. Okay, 6. The sixth number is 23, interquartile range. That's all. Another example is in this data set, there are 8 number, okay, 8 number, 25 percentile, Q1, you find the index is 2, integer, so you select the second and the third number, this is Q1. The 75 percentile, you find an integer, 6, integer, average, the 6th and the 7th number, 32, then the interquartile range is 15.5. Compare with this first data set, the interquartile range is 8. The second data set, the interquartile range is 15.5. We conclude the interquartile range of set A is less than B. So set B, it has a greater dispersion. All right. So to introduce interquartile range, because we want to move the extreme value that severely affect the accuracy of the range. And to find out Q1 and Q3, we use the percentile concept, help us to do it. Okay, now turn to your exercise, question number 4. Okay, now student, please do it. Now please only do question A and B first. 請你做咗 A、B 先好。Now I give you some hints on doing B. A 係畫圖啫嗱。You may doing B, you may draw a table like this. Q1, Q2, Q3. The second column is the I, that is the index. Then the third column is the answer. What is the answer of Q1, Q2, or Q3? 得唔得啊？你可以咁 present 下。OK， 好，咁啊請你做咗 A、B 先，好嘛？
阿 Sir，
好。
咁請問咧 Q1 係咪會有點數㗎？
嗱，你指個 I 定係指個答案先？其實兩個都有可能。
即係可能會點5咁樣啊？
你指個 I 啊，定係指個答案啊？
答案
可以，因為當你要計，即係如果當你計到個整數嘅時候，你就要剔佢同埋下一個數字嘅平均值㗎嘛。
係。
咁你平均值有機會有點數嘅，可以。
唔該晒。
Okay.嗱呢度咧，即係我俾少少 help 你啊。呢個係 a quarter，呢個係 half，呢個係 third quarter times 20，呢個5啊。You use the answer of A help you to find the Q1, Q2 and Q3 A 係幫到你做嘅，因為 stem and leaf diagram arrange the number in order。好，計咗幾多啊？呢個 Q1、Q2、Q3 有冇同學答過啊？
Q1 127.5。
127.5。Q2 咧
Q2 係咪 median 嚟嘅咧？其實簡單啲啊。
Q2 即係 second quarter，second quarter 即係 median。
136.5。
最後咧
149。
149。嗱，我唔知啱唔啱寫低嘅啦嚇。OK， 149。Any student? Do you have same answer? Do you get the same answer?
係一樣啊。
一樣啊，係嘛？Okay, now let's look at the answer. Now this is the first part, stem and leaf diagram. Now remember again, don't forget to write down the unit. 請你唔好記住要寫單位啊嚇，冇單位真係扣分嘅，都唔知嗰個係乜嚟㗎，得唔得？Okay, write down the unit. Right, then you arrange the number in ascending order. Then next is you find a median, right? First quarter, you calculate the answer is 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the fifth number, but it is an integer. So it's average of 126 and 129, 127.5. Q2, your answer is 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is the 10th number. So 135 plus 136, 38, 136.5. And finally is 15. So again, same method.
係咪紫色寫？
係點樣？
邊度？冇，我問緊屋企人嘢，唔好意思。
Okay. So it's 15 is 148 plus 150. So 140 and 49. All right. Very straightforward, not difficult. All right. 好，各位同學，我想講咗10分鐘先逼好嘛？即係我唔想斷。OK， 一翻嚟就。Now then these are how the method on calculating an interquartile range. Now, and with the interquartile range and also the median and the minimum and maximum, we create a very powerful method to describe the data. It's called the box and whisker diagram or some textbook call it box plot 啊。咁咧就發明咗叫雙形圖嘅東西。咁呢個圖咧就非常之有用嘅。點解陣間即係而家講下？Now box diagram or box plot, it uses 5 statistic data to describe the data set. They are minimum, Q1, Q2, Q3, and maximum. So no matter you have 1,000 data or 10,000 data, we still can use this only 5 number. You can give a good description on the data set. So I say it is very powerful. To draw it is put this number on a number line. Then you draw a rectangle. In the rectangle, you draw a straight line, and that is indicate a Q2. And 2, you draw 2 extension, 2 line, and connect the maximum to Q3, minimum to Q1. Now from this diagram, first, you know the range. All right, from this point to that point. All right. Next, the box width is the interquartile range. So therefore, if there are 2 sets of data, one is like this, the other is like that. Okay. So it's quite easy. You say that the data set of B, it has a big spread compared with the data set A. Okay. So just look at this diagram, you know the range and the interquartile range. And next is, here is the position of the median, like this diagram. The median is here, but the median of the dataset A is there. So we say dataset B is median is bigger than A. If these 2 group of data indicate the performance of the student test result, I would say in class B is the performance is better than A because it has a greater median. Okay, greater median. Another thing is about the skewness of the data set. Now, what is the skewness? Okay, now let's go to the page 19. 我哋仲可以度咧 data set 嘅偏移度嘅嚇 skewness of the data set. The skewness it has 3 different directions. One is called symmetric, 叫對稱數據。The other is called skew distribution. And in skew distribution, there are right skew and left skew distribution. 叫左偏數據同埋右偏數據。Okay, let's first discuss symmetric distribution. Now, this is a normal distribution, all right? If it is perfect, the midpoint is Q2, all right? And the first half, if you cut it into equal half, it is Q1. And the second half, if I cut it into further 2 halves, is Q3. If it is a symmetric distribution, the distance between Q2, Q1, and Q3, Q2 are identical. So in a box diagram, if this line is exactly in the middle of the box, then it is a symmetric distribution. Symmetric means that is the large here, this is y-axis, this is x-axis, right? So that 50% of the data, they are small. 50% of the data, they are bigger than the median. It is called symmetric. 嗱，呢叫對稱數據。大嘅數據數量同細嘅數據數量咧幾乎均等。Okay, moving around the median, right? Next one, this type, we call it right skew distribution, or in other words, we call it positively skewed distribution, because this diagram, the tail is pointing to the right. Okay, pointing to the right. or pointing to the positive sign of the x-axis. Okay, x-axis. Now, this diagram, all right, you tell me, most of the data are small data or most of the data are large data, large number. 大部分嘅數據係細數字定係大數字 ？If right skew. Small data, right? Most of the data, they are small data because the peak is on the left-hand side. Okay, on the left-hand side. So most of the data, they are small number. So in that case, if I find the Q2 is a line, divide this curve the area into two equal parts. This is Q1, this is Q3. If you measure the distance, all right, you find that Q3 minus Q2 is bigger than Q2 minus Q1. In a box diagram, right skew distribution is the left-hand side of the box is bigger. So it means that the distribution of the data, most of the number, they are small number. In opposite, if we take the mirror image of the right skew distribution, then we become a left skew distribution. In that case, the peak is on the right-hand side. The tail is pointing to the left. So if we measure the distance between Q3, Q2, Q1, it behave like this. The left-hand side of the box is bigger than the right-hand side. So it is called a left skew distribution or negatively skewed distribution. So why knowing the skewness of the important is based on them, we may know whether choose a median or mean to represent the data is a better choice. For this one, you choose the mean because it is symmetric. But for this one and that one, because there exists some extreme data set, extreme large or extreme small data exist. So therefore, in this case and that one, maybe you choose the median is more appropriate than choose the mean. Right? 得唔得？咁呢個就係編輯數據嘅重要性啊！幫助我哋選擇 mean 啦或者 median 咧比較係 better。Okay? Right? So I say box and diagram is a very powerful method to represent the data. From this, you know the range, you know the interquartile range, all right? You know the extreme, you even know the position of the median, and in this diagram, you know the skewness of the data. What is the skewness of this diagram? 呢個係咩 skew? What is the skewness of this diagram? Anyone can answer? There are only three possibilities: right skew, left skew, or symmetric. 呢個咩？呢個係 this side is bigger, right? So it is a right skew distribution or positively skewed distribution. So if it is a right skew, most data are big number or small number. This diagram. 右邊數據嘅時候，大部分數據係細數字定大數字？右邊數據 big number or small number？
大
細 small number
大
唔係大係細。Here, a positively skewed distribution. This is the diagram. The peak is on the left-hand side of the diagram, or on the smaller side on the x-axis. So the data distribution is most of the data, they are small. 得唔得？右邊數據係細嘅數據為主。 左邊數據係大嘅數據為主。Get it? Understand? Do I need to explain it? Okay. Now, if no, then we complete this exercise. Then we take a break. Please do question C and question D. Question 4. 咁啊，請你簡單地畫一個 box diagram 啦。好，咁我哋第二個答案咯噃，係咪畫到個大約咁嘅圖啊？啱啊。Okay. Then what is the skewness? Now, if the question asks you skewness, you should prove it by doing the subtraction. Q2 minus Q1, Q2 minus Q1, Q3 minus Q2, all right? And comparing which is bigger. So it is a right skew distribution. Or from the diagram, obviously, this side is bigger, right? So it is a right skew distribution, right? OK， 有冇問題？各位同學？好，冇嘅話，我哋 take a break 好嘛？10至15分鐘。OK。Then we go back to study of standard deviation and variance，好嘛？好，咁我哋唞唞先啦嚇，冇氣嘅。有冇嘢問？冇就唞一唞，好冇？等一等先啦。OK， 好，好啦，咁大家休息一陣。我整啲嘢先啊，睇下。你有嘢問你可以問我，冇所謂。整啲嘢先。 點解都唔中意讀 statistics 嘅同學？嗯，
Thomas， 我有個問題想問啊。
得問啦 ，OK。
我想問下你今年會教邊幾堂㗎
1至6，
？1至6，好，唔該。
1至6。你哋幾時 add job 完畢啊？正式
23號，今個禮拜3。
我仲有2日 ，OK。1至6啊。John and Peter。做咩睇頭先？ 答下問題先，有冇 video and update notes？唔係好明喎。因為Zoom 咧，我哋上堂咧上完堂，我咪會將條 link 放上去 show 嗰度咯。咁樣答唔答到你啊？阿麥加六係咪啊 ？Brand in the notes， 你指 chapter one？ 即係你頭先話你有即係有啲位填唔到，係咪啊？係咪啊？啲 exercise 啱唔啱啊？哦，OK， 邊一條啊？第一條 question 幾？但有同學問我咧，我呢個答案會放上去嘅會，不過我唔會咁早放上去咯，得嘛？即係我想啲同學做下先啊。即係因為一有答案，即係我做個學生都知㗎啦，咁樣望答案嘅啫嘛，喺度抄嘅咁係咪？咁我希望你做下先啦嚇。邊條啊 ？question one 定 question 邊條你頭先抄唔到啊？想抄翻？定係個 notes 啊 ？page 幾啊？你試下我明你意思啦，即係點解留咗咁多窿喺度？你嘅意思係咪啊？係咪？即係點解啲碌屎咧咁多白位係咪啊？我即係特登留翻啲位俾我哋做嘢啫嚇。唞多1分鐘啦，跟住我哋咧就去講呢個。咁呢個 notes 咧，即係嘅 example 10、example 11咧係describe the mean, mode, median, quartile, box and diagram, all this stuff 得唔得？即係全部都係呢啲嘢。咁我俾多2條 example 你自己睇一下。好啦，咁我哋咧就會去第二個 section。咁我今堂咧講埋呢個 variance 同埋 standard deviation 咧就講晒啦。因為就你哋 add drop 未完啊，即係我驚咧突然之間又有啲同學 add 咁樣，我又要重新講過咁啊。所以第一堂咧通常我都唔會講得好多㗎嚇，即係唔會講得好快，我費事重複啦。唞到1分鐘啦。share。Okay, let's start the second section, right? And now, then before the break, we discussed the interquartile, the skewness of the data, right? And the range and the interquartile range. But later, the statistician find that range is maximum minus the minimum. Interquartile range is Q3 minus Q1. Now, no matter which one you use, you still use one number minus another number. You use two numbers to find out the spread. However, if you spend time and money to collect so many data, say 10,000 data, you only take two from the group to measure the spread. Obviously, there is a great information waste. And also, so statisticians think that we should use more data to describe the group is better. So what is the definition of more? More than two can be three, can be four, can be five. So it should be ultimately use all the data set to measure the spread. Okay, so they discover the method of variance and standard deviation. Now the concept is easy. This is the data group. You find the center, mu, that is the mean. What is error? If there are three data points, right, then error is the distance between the data points and the mean. This is the first error, this is the second error, this is the third error, all right? So to measure the error of the group is we add up the three errors, then divided by 3 is the average error. The concept is that easy, and it utilizes all the data. But we find that if we simply add up the error, it leads to one problem. Three number 1, 2, 3. The average is 2. Okay. The x minus mu, the data point minus the mean is -1, is 0, is 1. But if you add these three numbers, it is 0. All right. So the total error is 0, but 0 means no error, right? So it is wrong. Okay, it is wrong. Obviously, not all the numbers are equal. And the problem comes from this negative sign. Statisticians use a very simple technique. Is we take the square of the difference. Then it makes this -1 become +1. So the answer is 2. All right, is 2. Then you take the average of this number. Then we call it the variance. So in that case, we use the sigma square, this symbol to represent the variance. It is 1 minus the mean square plus 2 minus 2 square plus 3 minus 2 square divided by 3. This is the definition of variance. 呢個就係方差嘅定義啦，就係 average error square. Okay, the total difference square. You take the average. The bigger the number, the bigger the dispersion. The smaller the variance, the smaller the dispersion. All right. So this is this is the variance. Okay. But why, after we teach variance, we further teach standard deviation? Now, if this number measures something with the unit centimeter, okay, so what is the unit of variance? Anyone can tell me? 嗱，如果呢個1、2、3咧係度緊呢啲長度咧係用 cm 啊，咁個 variance 咧個單位係乜嘢咧 ？Anyone can tell me？ 有冇同學答到啊？如果我度緊嘅嘢係 cm， 咁 variance 嘅單位係咩咧？就應該係 cm square，right？ cm square correct. This is cm square, centimeter square. Now, then it becomes quite strange. You measure something in one dimension, but the error is in 2 dimensions square. So that on doing comparison is not convenient. So we do not use variance directly. We use this square root rather than use the variance. So standard deviation is the square root of variance. This is the reason why we commonly use the standard deviation rather than use the variance, because standard deviation is unit, is the same as the raw data. Okay, this is the 叫做標準差啦嚇。But standard deviation in statistics, there are 2 numbers. Now one is sigma, the other is sample. Okay, now what is the difference? There are 2. Now let's look at the variance first. The population variance, we use the mu, the population mean. The sample variance, we use x bar, the sample mean. Next, the population standard deviation, we divide the number by n, the whole population size. The sample variance is divided by n minus 1, not n. Okay, it's the sample variance. So that if I give you some number, say 1, 2, 3, from the Casio, from the calculator, you will get 2 values, different values of standard deviation. One is population standard deviation. 3 number, divide the number by 3. And other is a sample standard deviation. Although you give 3 number, but it's divided by 3 minus 1, that is 2. So it depends on the number 1, 2, 3. It is they are population data or they are sample data. So be careful on using the standard deviation correctly. Now let's do one simple exercise. 1, 2, 3. Please use your calculator. Tell me what is the sigma, what is the S. 你試下撳計數機，1、2、3嘅 population standard deviation 係幾多？ Population standard deviation. Anyone can tell me? Input 1, 2, 3 in your calculator.
0.816。
2就係 0.8。如果我攞4個位啊，8165。S 啊？ sample 啊？
1
嗱，你嘅 Casio 計數機就會有3個掣㗎嘛
1咯，係
係啱啊，啱正確。呢個sorry， 呢個就係 population standard deviation， 呢個就係 sample standard deviation. All right. So be careful which standard deviation, which one you want to find. Depends on the data. Is a population data or they are sample data.
Sir，阿 Sir，
係講
咩 sample number 啊？即係咩嚟㗎？我唔係好
嗱
明啊。
，OK 我意思即係話咧，如果我俾3個數目字你1、2、3啊，1、2、3，即係如果全世界咧，即係得3個數字，即係我同一班問3個同學，問佢攞個分，咪1分、2分、3分。 咁由於咧 the population 咧即係整體只係得3個數目字，咁你計嗰個嘅標準差咧就應該係用一個 population standard deviation。呢個明唔明啊？
明啊，我呢個明啊。
係啊，呢個成個群體得3個數字，但係如果咧而家有一個好大嘅群體，你揀一細組出嚟，而你咁啱揀中咧就係1、2、3，得唔得？1、2、3，咁呢個咧 this one 係一個 sample 嚟啫嘛，得唔得？即係佢係一個樣本啊，佢喺一大紮數字裏邊揀3個 data 出嚟，嗰3個 data 分別就係1、2、3。咁我哋要去 if we want to calculate the standard deviation 咧，我哋就應該用一個叫樣本標準差去計啦。OK？ 咁簡單嚟講，如果嗰個係樣本數據就係樣本標準差，嗰個係群體或者係整體數據咧，就係用一個整體嘅標準差。好唔 OK？ 嚇，明唔明白？
明啦，唔該。
If you study secondary school in Hong Kong, if you study DSE, OK, DSE core mathematics， 即係以前咧，即係1年前咧 ，core mathematics 咧就只係計呢個嘅啫，就只係計population standard deviation， 佢係冇教計 sample standard deviation， 冇嘅。OK， 咁所以呢樣嘢咧就即係一個 new things to many of you. Okay, now please go to your exercise. Okay. Then question number 5. Question 5咧，我打漏咗個字，麻煩你加翻上去。呢啲係我係計 population standard deviation。好啦，咁啊大家咧就試下撳下機啊，係咪？A. Find the mean of John's score and his population standard deviation. Find the mean of Peter's score, his mean and population standard deviation.
應該係63.3同埋8.85啦。
第一個，
咁即係 John 個 mean 係63.3， 8.85。
Peter 咧係啊啱啊 ，Wendy 啱啊嚇，54.5係嘛？
係。同埋10.3 correct to 3 significant figures。
係啦，10.3嚇。通常咧usually if you give the answer please use 2DP， 即係最少用少數兩個位，得唔得？嚇，兩個位比較好啲。即係如果佢有啦，佢冇啊，冇得講啦，得唔得？
好。
Whose performance was more consistent？ 邊個表現穩定啲啊
？John 啊，因為佢個 SD 係細，所以佢個 score 係會 less dispersed。
因為佢嘅 his standard deviation is smaller than Peter. Okay, get it? This is a standard deviation. How to use it? Okay. So remember, there are 2 different standard deviation in statistics. One is called population standard deviation. The other is called sample standard deviation. 係講，喂，
我想問咧，相反，如果我話 Peter 嗰個 SD 大過阿 John 得唔得㗎？唔係噏出係咯，得睇先。即係 Peter 嗰個 standard deviation 係大過 John 嘅 standard deviation。所以佢 Peter 嗰個 performance was more consistent 咯。
唔係，因為你而家問 consistent 嘛 ，consistent 係比較穩定啊嘛。
係。穩
定咧就要睇呢一個標準差究竟邊個大，邊個細啲，得唔得？邊個細？標準差係量度嗰啲數據咧係集中定係分散？你唔穩定嘅意思咪即係跳嚟跳去啦啲數據， 係啦，一跳嚟跳去嘅話咧，嗰、個 SD 就會膨脹啊。嚇，係啦，明唔明啊？
明白。
係啦 ，consistent 呢一樣嘢，即係穩定嘅意思，呢個係嚇。OK。All right。Now then we go to question 7啊，好，第7條，咁啊大家試下做，咁順便咧我 demo 下俾你睇咧 Excel 可以點做啦，咁你做晒佢啦 ，question 7 do it from A to E， 做晒佢，咁我咧就順便話俾你聽 ，Excel 就好 powerful 嘅嚇。做完你又可以打個答案俾我幫你對下得。Construct a step-manip diagram, very straightforward, right？ 啊，呢度唔難啦。攞兩題。呢啲題目我諗做10分鐘到啦，係咪？10分鐘內。咁啊，所有同學咧就試考下，因為 statistic 就真係 learning by doing 啊，因為睇唔會明，睇係啊， 好似係喎咁啊。幾多咧？睇到 mean 睇下先。係咪千幾啊？你哋覺得個 mean 1000幾？哇！1000 yes correct 4 5講多次，最好就剔小數後兩個位，得唔得？2 dp 2 decimal place。跟住就 median 啦，係咪 ？median 咪 refer to the percentile method 咧，我用一個 even 或者 odd 嘅 method 咧去唔係嗰個 even 或者 odd method 咧，或者 percentile method 都冇上咗去啦。median OK 啊，1989啱嘅 median。
阿 Sir，
係講啊
我請問咧，翻去 quartiles 咧，即係點啊
quartiles 咧，咪即係嗰個 Q1、Q2、Q3啊？記唔記
哦，
得？
即係全部嘅。
係啦
OK 啦。
，quartiles 呢個就係啦，你啱啊。quartile 呢個字咧，本來係指3個 number 嘅，得唔得？3個 number 嚇。即係有陣時咧，題目就會寫到明咁咩 first quartile、third quartile 就2個 number 啦。如果冇寫就即係3個 number。咁其實有一個你揾咗嘅個 B 個 medium 咪即係 Q2咯，係嘛？
係啊，呢個唔該。
呢個有個揾咗嘅。咁你就畫翻個表，即係畫翻頭先嗰個咧咩 percentile 嗰個表。Sample standard deviation and sample variance are fine。
variance 有冇得撳機㗎？
你撳到 SD 將佢 square 咪得咯，記唔記得？
哦，係喎，OK。
將佢 square 咪得啦嚇。
我計到19.09啦，sample 嗰個 standard deviation，
正確啱啊，
跟住 variance 係364.27。
都啱啊。嚟到12分鐘嘅。 點啊？其他同學計咗未？Do you？俾多1分鐘。睇下先。Okay. Now let's see the answer. I also demonstrate how to use the Excel to find out the answer. Right. Now there are 11 bags of sugar as follows. Construct a stem and leaf diagram. Okay, this is the correct stem and leaf diagram. Remember, importantly, the correct unit, right? Unit is 10 here. Okay, 10. This is 1. Okay, this is 1. So that you put the number into the correct position, right? This is the stem and leaf. And next is the mean. Now this mean is the although it does not state explicitly, but here is a sample SD, so it should be also a sample mean. So it is a sample mean. This number, the median is this number. You may use the odd even approach. There are 11 number. Okay, so the median is as the 6th number, 第6個數字啦 1989. All right. And this is the quartile, right? Quartile, you use a table, Q1, Q2, Q3. This is I, this is the answer. This is a quarter, this is half times, is it 11? All right, 11, 11, 11, 11. So that 11 over 4 is, this is 2.75. This is 5.5. This is 8.25. Or a decimal number. So we just round up. So it's a third number from the stem and leaf diagram. The 6th number. And also the 9th number. All right. And the sample SD, S, 19.808. Variance, square this number, 364.27. Comment on the skewness, explain briefly. From the table, you find the Q2 minus Q1, and you find Q3 minus Q2, right? This side is bigger, so that it is a positively skewed, right scale distribution. All right, okay, so this is the answer. Do you understand? 有冇同學唔明白 Yes or no? Now, no. Then I show you how to use the Excel. 咁我咧就教一教大家點樣用個 Excel 咧就可以好快咧就可以計到嘅噃。OK， 咁呢個就係個 Excel 嗰個版面啦嚇。OK， 嗱 mean。Now, Excel, there are so many mathematics functions. You may press equal. Remember to press equal. Type average. Sorry. This number. Right? This number. Clear? 咁啊非常之容易啦嚇。Type equal average. OK. Median. 呢個世界真係 easy. Median. Then you select the data and you find the median, right? How about quartile? Now, there's a function called quartile, QU, this one. Quartile dot EXC, okay? You select the data set, then comma, then you type 1 or 2 or 3. If it is 1, this is Q1. Okay, Q1. If you select 2, this is Q2. Or if you select 3, this is Q3. OK？ 係咪覺得好過你部卡西歐咧？係嘛 ？OK， standard deviation ST equal STDEV. Now you see that there's a STDEV dot P, STEV dot S, sample dot S. Select the data is number. All right. How about the variance? So first method is you just square this number. This is the variance. Or you may type VAR. VAR stands for variance. Dot S. Select the data. And it's also the same answer. Okay? Are you clear, student?
阿 Sir，
係。
如果嗰個係 population 嘅 variance 係咪揀VR 點 P 啊？
係正確的。同埋咧，如果嗰個係 population 嘅話咧，個 standard D 啊嚇。如果係個 population 咧，就係 STDEV dot 見唔見到呢個有個 P 啊 ？dot P 啊嚇。OK， 咁呢個就係 population。咁啊 population 咧就係呢個，咁就唔同嘅答案。All right。Okay, so you see that Excel is very, very powerful, right? Compare with your Casio, right? Okay, now we do one more question, and it is all about this lesson. Question number 8. 我哋做多一題，咁啊留翻啲啊嚇，下堂先再講啦。咁啊下堂咧就會講埋呢一個 chapter. Then we start the next chapter called counting, right? Okay, counting. Now please do question 8 now. 第8題。我俾翻熒光幕你睇下先，可能嗰啲好呢題啦，唔係呢題都唔係太難嘅，個表我畫咗俾你 easy 啊。 K 係幾多咧 ？K 好容易嘅，邊個答到啊 ？K。What is K？
四啊，
係啊，四啦，係咪？Very very easy。Very very easy。Because the difference is 26, right? So 18 plus 26 is the maximum. Your answer is 44. So K is 4. Mean 係28 correct。正確的。8 point C 係8同埋64 correct。嗱 D 咧係要答4個答案嘅噃，記住喎。D 就係 D。D is mole. First one. Quartiles. Quartile this represent 3 number. Quartile 呢個字淨係呢個字咧就係3個數字 Q1、Q2、Q3。即係除非我講到明 first quartile、third quartile, right? IQR Q3 minus Q1. Common skewness. Okay, calculate the difference. Are you okay? This lesson 唔係好困難嘅啫 ，lesson 1下。即我唔係暗示其他都好困難，得唔得 ？OK。不過係最容易嘅係第一堂呢啲。Q2. Yes, 25.5 correct. Symmetric 就係唔啱嘅。Interquartile range 12就係啱嘅。The distribution is not symmetric. Right skew 就係啱嘅，得唔得 ？Right skew，right skew。明唔明點解 symmetric 唔啱啊？各位同學，侯下石共係咪 ？OK 可能你計錯咗減數啦。OK。Let's look at the solution. A is K is 4. Okay, K is 4. Calculator mean is 28. Calculator again. SD is 8. Okay, 8. Be careful, sample SD. Square the number 64. Mode 24. Q1, Q2, Q3, use the percentile method. 22, 25.5, 34. IQR, use part D. 34 minus 22, 12. Prove the skewness. Okay, calculate the two differences. One is 3.5. The other is 8.5. So, because Q3 minus Q2 is bigger, the distribution is positively skewed or right skew distribution. All right? Okay. Now, that's all about lesson 1. Okay, and see after the airdrop whether many students change the classes. Okay, 咁我睇下咧就會唔會好多人改啦。好，any question in chapter 1？有冇問題你要問啊？冇啊，好開心啊！呢個通常都好快樂嘅。Yes， 問啦，你講又得，你打都得嘅，我聽到。
阿 Sir， 我想問咧，係咪 positive 或者 right 係是但寫一個得㗎？
正確，是但一個得㗎啦，同一樣嘢嚟嘅。
好，唔該晒。
唔使。係 Excel， 各位同學，你想問啲乜嘢？邊一個 function 咧？OK， 你等一等啊。你等我一陣啊。我又要拍翻過去，等等。有冇知呢個？OK。咁第一個就係 average 啦，得唔得 ？average。I don't 等一等先，我答完一個仲有一個好嘛嚇。second 咧就係嗰個 median 啦，揾 median 就 plus median 啦係 quartile 難啲啫 ，quartile QUARTILE .EXC。You go home and then turn on the Excel and then you type equal quartile 得唔得？即係打等於嗰個你打 QU 啦，基本個電腦會自動 prompt 俾你咧去揀嘅，唔需要刻意咁背咗佢，得唔得？好 user friendly 㗎，即係 Excel 咧，佢用翻嗰個英文字嘅起頭嗰啲字去俾人哋去選擇。OK， 係 standard deviation 啊，麻煩啲咧 STDV。STDV.S .S stand for sample .P stand for population。 OK， 逐個嚟啊嚇。你 standard deviation 同 variance 係用計數機，你嘅意思係咪啊 Kelly？ 定係條式啊？用計數機定係條式點計？即係用手計啊，定係用機計啊？你嘅意思？條式點計？OK， 好。 明唔明啊？各位同學 Excel OK 啊嘛？哦 OK 好，咁我咧又翻轉頭啦，又翻轉頭，逐個解決啦。咁啊，答咗第一個同學先啦。第一個同學就係咧問嗰個，嗰時唔好意思，嗰時黐咗線，撳咩鬼啊？啱啱揭開啲版嗰個同學咧問條色咧就呢度咪條色啊？呢個條色啊，呢個就係 population SD， 呢個就係 sample SD， 得唔得？即係呢個就係 population SD， 呢個就係 sample SD。OK。咁 for example，if 個 data 係 one two three，OK，咁啊 mean 咧就係 two 啦，population SD 就 one minus two square plus two minus two square plus three minus two square divided by three square roots。OK，this is population SD。sample SD 就係 one minus two square plus two minus two square plus three minus two square。over 3 minus 1。咁 OK， 各位同學問 equation 嗰個 OK 嘛？use of skewness 可以啊。嗱，咩叫 skewness 咧 ？skewness 咧 the meaning of skewness 咧，即係嗰啲 data 嘅偏側啊，即係佢係咪對稱？Are they symmetric？ 咁咩叫對稱咧？就對稱即係話咧，就係 if you look at the number，OK，you will see that 50% of the data they are small。and 50% of the data they are large， 明嘛 ？around 嗰個 median 嚟到講 ，around 個 median。OK， 咁呢個就係叫 skewness。咁如果係 exactly the same 咧，我哋就叫做 symmetric 對稱對稱。But if this diagram，OK，most of the data they are small， 大部分咧都係細嘅，因為個頂咧近左邊，明唔明點解近左邊係細？明唔明白先？呢個係方溫題嚟嘅，你嗰啲 number line 咧，係咪向左邊嘅 data 細啲啊？係嘛？負數嚟㗎嘛，細啲。咁所以咧 ，because the peak is at the left hand side，so most of the data they are small，but we call it right skew because we look at the tail. Okay, the tail. So this is a positively skew or right skew. In opposite, it is called left skew or negatively skew. Alright， 咁呢個就係 skewness 啦。咁即係話 we want to describe the distribution of the data. Are they symmetric or non-symmetric or asymmetric? Okay. So what is the use of skewness? Because if there exists some the distribution is like this or that， 即係如果呢個兩個情況咧，即係話我哋而家有個例子啦。嗱，呢個例子好極端嘅嚇。得唔得？嗱呢個呢個係咩 skew？Left skew or right skew？ 答唔答到啊？呢個係咩 skew 嘅 data？ 1 2 2 3 4 5 5 1 8 1 0 5，得唔得？呢個係 right skew， 得唔得 ？Right skew， 大部分 data 都好細嚇。咁 in that case 咧，如果你選擇 median 嘅話咧，係咪 better 好啲啊？ Because there exists some extreme data set. These two number will affect the mean severely， 係嘛？非常之影響個 mean 嘅準確度噶嘛？同意嘛？ 係啦，咁即係話咧 skewness 咧係幫助你決定究竟揀 mean 好定係揀 median 好。OK，if the compare the skewness 咧嗰個 degree of 個 symmetric。OK，if it is a quite symmetry。OK，so that we choose the mean。即係如果好對稱嘅話咧，我哋會揀 mean 嘅。其實我哋好想揀 mean 嘅，因為 mean 係計晒所有數字嘅，計晒所有數字係較好嘅。median 唔係計晒所有數字啊，計中間嗰個啫嘛，係嘛？咁所以就 help us to determine whether we should use the mean or we should use the median better skewness of the distribution。解決到你嘅問題未 ？OK， 好，其他同學 any problem for the other student？OK， 嗱，如果冇咧 ，if no we stop here 好嘛？咁我哋咧今日喺呢度停，咁啊下次就會繼續講多少少 more chapter 1，then we go to chapter 2啊。咁 chapter 2 notes 咧 maybe I will post on the show on Wednesday 嚇，星期三就放上 show 啦嚇。考 Excel 嘅，唔係我哋去到最後有一課會教 Excel 嘅，放心得唔得？即係會 formally 會教一課得唔得？搞你唔需要而家係咁死背，會㗎，會考㗎。即係唔會揾部機俾你考得唔得？唔會揾部機俾你考，即係我會諗啲題目係要你考下咁樣。點啊 Jeff？ 好擔心要背晒啲 function， 唔會嘅，得唔得？你發神經咩？要你背晒佢。Can I say range and integer range we are affected by the extreme data set easily so median will be more suitable? And median， no 啊，因為 median 咧係講緊中間嗰個位，但係 integer range 咧同埋 range 係講緊嗰個嘅 spread。你應該講咧就因為咧 because 咧呢個嘅 extreme data exceed，OK，extreme data exceed，it will severely affect the mean。So choose median will be more appropriate， 明嘛？因為 range 同埋 integer range 係講一啲 data 嘅變幅啊，但係 median 咧係講個中間位。record 會，梗係會啦，梗係會 ，yes 會。
Sir，
係，
我想問咧，係咪 Excel 咧可以你打一條 formula 咧，之後佢會幫你計數㗎？係
啊。
我唔係好記得點打啊。
你係咪都打個等於？
唔係，即係你好似可以打一個 formula 出嚟咧，跟住你入啲數，佢會自動幫你計晒啲數出嚟啦。
其實我而家咪咁咯，嗱，即係我咁樣啫嘛。即係不過呢個係一個又要翻轉頭，即係呢個咧係只不過一個簡單版啫嘛。呢個咪計晒啲數俾你睇啦。例如，好似你而家見到熒光幕呢個啦，係咪？咁啊，呢個係嗰個題目啦。佢話我呢個唔係2008嘅，我呢個係2嘅。嗱，咁咪計晒俾你睇啦，記唔記得？你係咪講緊呢樣嘢啊？係咪？
係啊。
係咯，嗱，即係你啲 equation 咧，佢 Excel 好嘅計數機就係你唔需要入啊，即係你搞掂咗一次 equation， 我呢個2008，我打個2字，我啲 data 轉晒，佢咪自動轉晒俾咯，全部轉晒咯，咁啊計晒㗎啦，嚇，答到你嘛
OK， 係咪可以用埋 quadratic 嗰啲嘅
？quadratic 嗰啲應該係得嘅喎，即係你睇下有冇嗰個 function 咯，嗰啲係 mathematics function， 得唔得啊？嚇，應該係得㗎。你可以翻屋企咧，你自己揾個 Excel 咧，佢第一個咧叫做你揀公式啊，英文叫 formula， 跟住 insert function， 得唔得？第一個叫插入函數，咁你哋睇下佢裏邊咧有冇乜嘢嘅 function 咧，佢係可以做到你嗰樣嘢。佢有好多咩 mathematics day 好多嘅，得唔得？咁你就喺度揀下咯。佢下邊咧有個 help 俾你嘅，得唔得？個 help 睇唔明咧，就睇個 help， 再睇下邊呢個 explanation， 佢又再解埋俾你聽嘅。O 唔 OK？
OK，thank you。
自己可以玩下。好啦，咁啊，今日講到呢度啦，因為要 交長得唔得 ？OK， 好，咁啊下堂再講啦，好冇？咁啊咁嗰個 link 咧就會係 the link will upload to your Soul account on Wednesday， 好冇 ？On Wednesday。All right，we stop here， 好嘛？咁啊今日就喺呢度停啦。